if you want to place your column bases, there are two elements which helps you to provide a column basis in a faster way. So we have the first way. The first way is what? Placing your columns at the midpoint of what? Of your grid line, and also placing your column bases what? At the column. But with this one, we don't have any columns what? In our model yet. So we are going to use what? Placing what? At the grid. So hello, what's up guys? This is live from Infinity Build Consult. Welcome to another episode of our online Revit tutorials. On today's tutorial, guys, we are going to learn about how to add in top of foundation in our Revit. So we are going to learn how to add column bases or column base in our Revit. So if you are a structural engineer or if you are an architect, this is for you. Or even if you are a CAD technician, this is for you, because CAD technicians also provide column bases. Architects also provide when they have single structure and also normal one-story building. They themselves design their column bases. So this tutorial is going to help you how to add in a level for your top of foundation or your column base detail. So this is what we are going to learn today. So guys, let's move into what we have for you. So I'm going to start with a new template in which we have this template. If you don't have, kindly comment at the section box and I'm going to provide you with this template in which I have. So before we can do that, we have to come into our levels. So we have a series of levels in which we have. So we have level 1, level 2, we have the truss details. So in case you want to change this one to a roof level, you can do so. So if you are following the pattern of the videos in which we provided, we have a steel truss, we have a roof truss drawings. So check our tutorials in which we provided. So on today's tutorials, we are working with the top of foundation in which we managed to create this level. So I want to delete this and start from scratch so that you understand how it works. So all top of foundation are being, or all foundations are being buried below the ground. So this serves as our level 1, or also we can also call it ground level, and we do yes. And normally after the ground level, we do create ground floor, in which when there is a rainfall or something or a disaster, the rain will not get into the building with using a level as level 0. So we provide a level above using our let me call it our threshold. So threshold are a series of staircase which does not lead to a rise high building, or which does not lead to a floor. So I'm going to change the level 7 to ground floor level. So this is our ground floor and this is our ground level. So there is a difference between the ground floor level and the ground level. So the ground level starts from where the level of the ground is, the nature or the topo of the ground. So we are going to create a top of foundation level, in which I'm going to give it a specific height of 1.8. Then I'll change the name here to top of foundation. So guys, this is going to be the level in which we are going to work on it today. So with the top of foundation level, today we have 2 views or 3 views in Revit. So if you are an architect, you normally bring your levels from where? The floor plans. But today, because we are working as an engineer or as a civil engineer, we are going to use the structure plan. So under the structure plan, this helps us to build in civil element or structure element. So I'm going to provide these two elements. I can use my control key from my keyboard to select the control and do OK from here. So this is my top of foundation. You can also check if you are at the right level by using the project browser. So under the project browser, the one that shows very deep is the top of foundation. So what do we do next? So we normally worked on inside our elevations. So we are going to provide grade lines in our area. Before that, we provide our column bases into the model or into the template in which we have today. So I'll come to my structure tab and provide a series of grade lines like this. And I can just do this one, and I will use the create similar tools, and I can just do an offset of 3 meters. After that, I will use the pick lines to pick it like this. So we are going to use our grade lines from 1 to 7. I think is enough for the tutorials. We are also going to do the horizontal grade line. So let me do the 0 first, and let me do a horizontal grid line. I can also do the horizontal grid line A before I do the create similar by providing my offset of 3 meters. After that, I'll use the pick line tools. Then I'll provide, when you bring it to the top, it's sent to the top. When you bring it to the down, it's sent to the down. So we have to click at the top like this. I think up to F is okay. So before an engineer can work on the top of foundation, the engineer will decide what the architect have done. But with this one, this is just a tutorial in which I are giving to you to help you build up your column bases. So after providing this thing, the next thing to do is to bring the size of the base. And the size of the base depends on the type of load in which the structure engineer had, and he has imposed it on all the building, transferring from the beams to the columns, from the columns then he transfer it to where the column bases. So when you want to place in the column bases, you have to come to where under the foundation area, the panel, there is something we call isolated. So under the isolated, you just have to click on an isolated area. We have only 2 foundation elements in that, but we can also do load family. So we are going to use the load family. So under the load family, when you come to the libraries we have the US metric. Because we are working with imperial, if we are working with metric, we are going to use a US metric, such as the millimeters and the feet. So I will search for structure foundations. Under the structure foundation, I will search for M-footing rectangular. So we have a series of them here. We have the power cap, we have cap, we have a lot of them here. So what we are going to use is the footing rectangular one, which is this one. So we are going to do OP. So we have a default column base from our family, which has a size of 1.8 by 1.2 by 450 depth. 450 depth or 450 deep. So we can also do change or edit or duplicate some of the column bases in which we want. So with this, I'm going to do a duplicate here, and I'm going to change this column base to 300 and do here as 500, and also provide here as 500. So I can now change this width as 1.5, change here also as 1.5, and do the foundation thickness or the depth or the depth as 300. So you can see we have a mistake here, so I'll just change this one and do it 1.5. So With the edit type, we first have a parameters which governs what? The column basis. Let me repeat it. You have what? A parameters in which what governs what? The column basis or the footing. So we first have the parameters here, we have the values. So under the column base dimension, we have what? The foundation thickness, the width and the length. Under the identity data, we have the assembly code, the keynote, the model, the manufacturer, and the type of comment, and the URL. You also have the description, we have the type mark. So later in our previous tutorials, we are also going to learn how to what? Do a tag or provide the name for your column basis by using what? The type mark or by using the type comment. So for now, having this size of column base, we just have to do what? Okay, for now, if you want to place your column bases, there are two elements which helps you to provide a column basis in a faster way. So we have the first way. The first way is what? Placing your columns at the midpoint of what? Of your grid line, and also placing your column bases what? At the column. But with this one, we don't have any columns what? In our model yet. So we are going to use what? Placing what? At the grade. So I'll click on the grade and I'll select all my grade like this, and I'll just have to do finish. So this is the quicker way of providing a column basis in your model. So when I come to the 3D, we have the top of foundation here and we have the foundation here. And in case you have a drawing in which you don't have all your column bases at the certain grade line, you can still provide it one by one by clicking on the footing, and also you place it at the center here, like that, like that, like that, like that. And sometimes you might place it at the wrong place. You can use a simple tools which we call it the align tools by using a shortcut of AL. Under the AL area, you just have to click on the grid line and you click on the midpoint, and you click on this one midpoint and you also align. After that, you have this lock to lock it out so that it will not move. So guys, after placing the column bases, we are also going to add in what? Some of what? Columns, so that it will serve as what? A combined column basis. So all these elements are going to what? Be buried under the ground. So let's finish with our column basis. As we said, if you have any question under these tutorials, kindly put it at the subscription button and kindly subscribe for us. When we release any new video, you get notified. So guys, let's move on. We came to the column basis area, and I said we have at grade and we have at columns. So we are going to insert columns in our model, and we use the second command. So I'll come to my columns area, and under my columns area, I'll search for the column in which I want to use. So I can see I don't have any concrete column in my model, but I have what? The steel sections in my model or in my template. So I just have to come to load. Under the load, I'll come back to my US metric. We have two types of column in Revit. We have the architecture column, which does not come with structural columns, and we also have what? A structural columns here under the family. So we have series of structural column. We have the light gauge steel, precast concrete. We have the steel and we have the wood. So we are using what? Steel concrete in our model. So I'll come to the concrete area and I'll choose the type of column in which I want to provide, either the square column, the rectangular column. So I'm going to use the square column. So I'll load it into my project, and the default column that came was what? 300 by 300 column. And as I said, you can come to the edit type under the properties area, and you change the parameters by using the breadth and by using the structure section. So you can also do duplicate here, and also provide the dimension or give it a name as column dash base 1. Okay, then you do okay for now. So with a column also we have a series of what a space in which governs it for you to work in a faster way. So we have the slanted column, we have the vertical column. So with the columns too, we can place it within your grid lines or within at the column ends. So I'm going to use the grid for now, and I will select all my grid line like this, and I'll do finish from here. So I can see my columns have been placed on my grid line at the midpoint. So let's check from the 3D in which we have. So this is what we have here. We can also hide this grid line for now. If you don't want this grid line, you can hide it. And I'm going to show you something very quick when you want to set up your column. So when I come to the elevation in which I'm having, these columns are starting from where we don't know, unconstrained level, and it is ending at the top of foundation. So I'll come back to my 3D, select these columns like this, and come to the properties area. Under the properties area, I'll first have to provide the height in which I want, or the height in which I want to set my columns. So in Revit, it's called the constraint. So we have the top level and we have the top offset. So my top level is going to be ground floor, and my base level is going to be top of foundation with an offset of 0. With an offset of 0. So whilst we are not in architect, I'll come to my graphic display. Under the graphics display, I can remove my cast shadow from my drawing, and also come back to my top of foundation area. So after that, we are going to use the second tools in which I said it can be found in the column bases. So I'll come to my structure tab. Under the structure tab, I'll come to my panel area. Under the foundation panel, I'll come to isolated. So under the isolated, for this one, we are going to use at columns, because we now have our columns in it. So I'll select all my column like this, and I'll do finish. So this is how it works when you have columns and when you have grid lines. So you can view your section here or your elevation here and see how it works. So I can use this knot to stretch my levels in which I have, and also I can provide a dimension for my column bases. So guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly give us a subscription. If you have any comment, kindly write it at the comment section box. If you want this template, kindly write it at the comment section box that you need this template, and I promise I'm going to send you this template. So guys, we have a series of tutorials coming for you. So guys, keep supporting. Peace, shalom. This is what I have for you. So I'm going to provide you more videos. Thank you for subscribing and being part of the family. Bye for now.